I think it might be a combi.
I feel like that's a true down.
Oh, you got it separated. That's awesome.
You gotta keep them separated.
I love it. I just have to say, it's a great sound clip.
It is. Now I gotta work it into the intro, but I didn't have time to separate everything.
I think it might be a combi.
I feel like that's a true down. Never look at all. Every time I play it, I can see you standing up on that rock.
Oh no!
I hear your arrow. I heard your arrow was by, but I can't see it.
Yeah, I was not seeing it.
That was so funny, dude.
It was so dark. Like I should have recorded it. I don't know how. I don't have it set up to record, but it was it was super dark on my screen, and then I forgot that you had the gamma. What
really made my night though was as me punching you into the water.
I wonder what killed it. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, I didn't even say that. I don't know what I said. I'm like,
You're like, what is that? What is that in the water? She's like, go look. Just like punching you back.
Yeah, because I was like, is that a dead Anki in the water? And you're like, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, go look. And then you just see your little body go. Oh my god.
Yeah, I had no idea it was her either. I completely thought it was Foe.
Foe doing it.
Wow, that's so messed up.
The part that cracked me up is between with you and Foe was when you're like, I got an egg, and then Foe's like, well, that's okay because you're way over there, and you're like, I'm right by you. He goes, oh, get away. Like, it was so chill. Like, it was so chill. How, when I heard it, it was like, you're like, I got an egg, and he's like, well, that's okay because you're way over there, and you're like, I'm right by you, and you're like, he's like, oh, get away. It just cracked me up.
Well, it's funny because he said that, and I look up, I'm like, dude, your name's right in front of me.
I lost track of your little ass.
God.
Well, it's not like I was crawling at you that time.
Yeah, that was so freaking hilarious. God, I laughed my ass off. Laughed a lot.
Had to throw it in there.
I'm wearing my birthday suit, and I got a luscious blonde wig on.
Oh shit, I'm eating freaking narco berries now. I am not doing myself any favor.
Might have bit off more than I can chew here.
There's a bad one in this bunch. You guys want me to teach you about mushrooms?
I am so close to death. I got a broken leg.
The only way that you survive is by being smarter than some of the other people.
What the heck? It's digging holes in the ground? It's digging holes in the ground.
Fresh spawns, veteran tamers, and all survivors in between. We'd like to welcome you to Rated Ark, the Ark Survival Evolved podcast.
By the way, this is explicit.
Welcome, survivors new and old, to Season 2, Episode 9 of the Ark Survival Evolved podcast. Today's April 27th, 2018. We are a CRR Gaming Group hosted podcast, so that means the voices can change each week, but the roundtable discussion will always be about Ark. We have many ways you could contact us to share feedback, tips, or adventures. You can reach the show by email at ratedark@gmail.com. You could tweet the show at ratedark on Twitter. You can grab our RSS feed, get our show notes at www.ratedark.com, and apply to join us in-game at www.crossrealmrebellion.com. Tonight we have with us Esmeralda Sky.
Hello, hello.
We got Falloon.
Hello, everybody.
We got me, Faux Render, joining the show as usual. And we have Goon.
How you doing?
And Big Blue.
Howdy, howdy.
What's up, peeps?
What's up? What's up is we got some loot to drop. Here we go.
Shout, let it all out. These are the shout-outs we can't live without. Oh yeah, come on, yeah. Radar's talking to you, you're talking to us, yeah. Yeah, time for shoutouts.
All right. We got some feedback from our fellow CRR member, Sumduud, and he left a comment regarding last week's show and said, a comment about the code of conduct part. Y'all mentioned structured spamming, placing structures down such as pipes or wires for the purpose of disrupting others' gameplay is against our code of conduct, was what we were discussing last week, and said that it was weird that they didn't mention pillars, and he said that the difference is you can't just put pillars in someone's base, but an old troll method was to run water pipes and enclose somebody's base. They can't build through the pipes, and the pipes aren't restricted to build radius like the other structures, and on PvE the pipes can't be destroyed, so if the troll refreshes a decay timer, I'm guessing this works with wires also. It says, so while pillaring is a prick move, there is usually some area somewhere to build, even if only up. With the pipes you can stop you can't stop them from being able to build. Oh, you can stop them from being able to build at all. So that was interesting. I guess I've never been restricted by pipes. So
yeah, that's pretty crazy.
And I've never had anybody wrap my base on PvE or PvP in it. So I don't know. But he said I've
never ran into that myself either.
Yeah, I hadn't. So I'm not sure.
I've never had anybody put a bunch of cubes around my base.
I know, right? All this reminded me of was Pixark, like how our whole time that when we ran into that on Pixark. It's so crazy. So thank you for the feedback, Sumduud.
Yeah, that's our alpha tip for the day.
Yeah, there you go. It's reverse alpha tip. That's how you can be a jackwagon. Oh, right. We're going to be moving into Fresh from the Forge.
Fresh from the Forge.
All right, so we have the PC patch notes for current version 279.261 and upcoming current Arc Official Network server version 279.261. I don't know why it's the same damn thing they're saying. It's upcoming. No, it's current. That's what it is. Deja vu. Weekly patches are conducted, in case you did not know, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless otherwise stated. So we are in, like I said, gazillion times, 279.261. Moss chops damage and harvesting was buffed by 30%. Introduced tighter limits on number of nearby cliff platforms. Fixed bug that caused the Packy Rhino gas to give a swamp fever. That just is so funny. I almost feel like they should have kept that. That would be hilarious.
I didn't know that was happening.
That was so funny. Oh, that cracks me up. Oh, I think they totally should have left that in there. Fixed bug causing Ascension character loss. Side note, with that patch, with that swamp fever thing, you know how they changed the moss chop so that like it requests different things to eat, you know, like it might roll up on one. Would it be kind of neat though if they did have a dino in there that just randomly infected you with just randomness, like you just wouldn't know?
Wait, did you ask if that would be cool?
I think it would be hilarious.
Oh my god, that swamp fever is so frustrating.
Yeah, I know, but would it be funny?
Not if I was the one getting it.
Yeah.
I know, it never is fun if you're the one getting it. Well, maybe, but not.
I want to know how many people use one of those, sent it into their enemy base just to give their enemy swamp fever.
That's what would happen.
I know, right? That would crack me up. Fixed a bug causing Ascension character loss if you had it interacted with a terminal. Terrifying. What the hell? Fixed infinite looping chainsaw noise.
It's about time. I mean, Dirt came out when?
Yes. Too funny. Well, remember forever, what was it, like that trebuchet or whatever, if somebody had that little, what was it? They had that piece of artillery in their base, and every time you go by it, you'd hear it launch, like they were always in battle, although it was never being used. Do you guys remember what one that was?
I don't remember that, no.
It was on server official 36. Every time we would go up coast on the island server, this person's base, it would just make this explosion noise, and that
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was something that I can't remember what it was that they had, if it was a cannon.
That was on Primitive Plus.
I think this one was on the just normal PvE, the PvE 36. Okay. Yeah, so, but that was a thing for a while. That if somebody had that up, God, I can't remember now. It's like on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, so that's funny that people are hearing freaking chainsaw noises. Continuous loop of chainsaw. That was an interesting patch thing then. You know, people randomly getting swamp fever from Bacuriosaurus.
We're like, hey, wait, how did...
So crazy. And
but, you know, I was kind of wondering if Moss Chops was going to get some kind of a buff once people started riding them.
Right. I know, right? Because it's just like you're using them now and you probably didn't realize how weak they really were when it came to that. Because they weren't just hanging out. And right now, the current evolution event is active and it will take place from the 27th, which is today. And it will run to April 27th of April at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until Monday the 30th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All official servers will be undergoing this evolutionary change, which includes the 2x harvesting, 2x taming, and 2x XP rates. And I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Goon, and we're going to be covering this Community Crunch information. Community Crunch 128. And I'm going to hand it over. There you are. Sorry. I thought you were gone again.
Popping some pills.
Oh, okay.
Hey, survivors. Welcome to the latest edition of the Community Crunch. Community Crunch is where we share important things that are going on in ARC, as well as host contests and showcase creations made by the community. Console TLC 2 patch soon. On April 26th, we'll be updating the Xbox PS4 with a TLC 2 patch. It's important to note this Thursday's console patch will be a big update. The base game for the Xbox will be a 27 gigabyte update. Scorched Earth and Aberration will be a 5 and an 8 gigabyte, respectively. We don't have a current indication as the size of the PS4 patch, but we estimate it to be a large update. However, not as large as the Xbox. The size of these updates is due to the fact that all the maps in the game have been updated, and therefore the files for every map must be downloaded and replaced on your console.
I believe it was 8 gigabytes for PS4.
Oh, yeah, because they were saying it was going to be different.
Yeah.
So it was only 8 for
I'm pretty
PS4?
sure it was only 8.
Wow, quite a difference. Xbox
yeah, big difference.
being 27, and you ended up having only 8. Wow.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I know. I really, it makes
like,
you wonder.
hey, wait a minute. We didn't get nearly as much as Xbox.
Right?
Okay, let's see. In addition to the TLC update, the patch will also bring the following changes. First is enabling transfers with the vanilla version of aberrant creatures to be moved to aberration servers. This means that you'll be able to take over your regular Spino to an aberration server. Also preventing people from building within the Ragnarok puzzle cave. So if you store any structures or creatures down there, make sure to use this time to relocate them ASAP. As once this update goes live on console, that will no longer be possible. Man, when I seen that, I was in PS4 chat. I was like, "Oh my god, let's hurry up, get down to that puzzle cave, so we can set up a bed and get in there." And never mind, but we didn't get to it.
Oh no.
Yeah, they already did the patch. Oh well. Anyway, it's important to note that Turret Update will not go live on console with this update, but instead a future one.
Ooh. All right, Mr. Foe, you have some exciting news to share.
Maybe.
We have some exciting news to share with you today. Beginning in May, the community team will be joining a bi-weekly live streams. During these live streams, we will have Zenro, Chris, and Jen bringing ARC news, celebrating modding and the community as a whole every other week. We'll be playing ARC, showing off mods and showing off your community creations for all to see. Survivors are invited to join us in chat and sometimes even in-game, to play and chat with the community, team, and other developers. At this time, we are going to begin gathering up community creations to be displayed on stream. We will be accepting any type of ARC-related fan art. This can be drawings, videos, builds, Ansel screenshots, handmade crafts, anything ARC-related. We will no longer be running Community Crunch contests here on the forums. The Community Crunch will transition into being our weekly news post, while the bi-weekly streams will become our new community celebration initiative. We will instead be running contests on the live streams with a chance to win something special if your submission is the best of the bunch. You could submit your ARC work, get it, ARC work, to our streaming email address at arcfans@studiowildcard.com. We'll be announcing our streaming schedule in next week's crunch, so check back in for that next Monday. Be sure to follow us on Twitch page so you don't miss our stream, twitch.tv/survivetheark.
So what do you guys think about that? New changes.
Anytime there's a bunch of like cool contests and stuff, I think that's always fun. You know, something for the whole community to get involved. It's cool.
Have you ever looked at like some of the photos that get submitted? It's normally submitted by the same couple of people.
Do you think that's because...
Interesting.
I was wondering, like, do you think that's just because, like, it's just like a niche kind of thing that people take that time to do those screenshots and to do the Ansel type stuff, or it's a very select part of people that actually go to the website to take the time to download the stuff? And
exactly, that's exactly what it is.
I think it's just and those people that submit, they submit like 5 or 6 different photos.
Yeah.
Builds. I might do some of my hardcore, like that hotel thing I had. I might do some like cool buildings I have done in the past. I got to go through all my photos and see what I could do. Maybe I'll do some.
Yeah, you should do that. Every time they talk about this, is one of the things I'm thinking about is a lot of the bases I've seen that you build are just amazing. I don't know why you haven't submitted them. I just think they're amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna try it out. Why not?
And I think it's really cool that they're doing this. I feel like this is something that they needed to do, was to get their hype train back up, because they kind of, the player base, it feels, has, petered off in a way. And, with Pixark coming up, people hopped over there that kind of play style, and was, I think, hopped right out of Ark and hopped over into there. And, it does seem like it's kind of slowed down, and their Twitter account kind of got, stale for a while. And I think this is really cool that they're switching it up and they're trying something new. And they've always done really well with their Twitch stuff. They used to, hop on the hype trains. They'd find like the well-known streamers and they'd jump on their bandwagon. And remember when they used to do like their updates and stuff on Twitch before? You would see like Jat and then like a couple of the community people, they used to do this and do like a Q&A and stuff like that. It always really worked out well for them. So I'm really excited that they're going this route again. I think it's something that they really needed to do to breathe some, fresh life and stir the pot now to get all the stuff that's settled to the bottom. Get the blood flowing again. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. How about you, Mr. Blue? You got some mod stuff for us?
I got some mod tutorial contest updates. For our Wacky Buffs themed tutorial contest, we got some pretty hilarious submissions. Thank you for those. I had a good laugh and a weird little straight face thing, I think. The winner of the third mod tutorial contest is Red Dwarf with his ridiculous rocket poop buff. What?
He had a buff contest, and Red Dwarf made a ridiculous rocket poop buff. Apparently, you could shoot poop out like a rocket.
I'm wondering if it gives you explosive diarrhea or something.
Oh, that would be crazy. And then it plays Rocket Man. While you're shooting poop at people.
Oh no!
Man, shooting my poop all over the place.
Maybe it's just poop ammo. You just rocket launcher.
Yeah, that would be funny. Like a paintball gun, but with poop.
Go over to your friend's base and shoot the shit.
Oh! Ding, ding, ding!
You could have fun with that.
You were stepping into dad joke zone right there.
Yeah, Dad, I'll allow it.
What's that? What'd you say, Phil?
I said, that's my territory.
I know. That's funny. You said that. I'm like, you are so getting into Phil's territory.
April 30th is the submission deadline for current contests for Space Day props. Next week, I will have a new wildcard workshop video ready for you. We will continue our coverage of replication with some practical examples.
Awesome.
That's up to you.
All right, we are moving into Dino Spotlight with myself and Mr. Goon. Here we go.
Come on down to Dinosaur Decay, your one-stop shop for help with all your plots. We got dinos to cover all your
degrees, from arms to alarms, from intimidating to intimate.
Well, hello there. Look at you being all sexy, staring at me with those hungry eyes, like you could just eat me up.
Oh, come on down to Dinosaur City. We can help you. To help yourself, pick the dino that's right for you. And remember, we have a special every week, and this week's special is...
Ethereum Obsidiocus.
Ooh, you nailed that! Did you, like, record that ahead of time and play it or something? Because it sounded really good.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Oh my god, see, I knew it! When I pasted this down, I'm like, oh yes! And Goon's gonna have to come up with this, and you're like, damn it! You got it. You beat me to the punch, man.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Alright. Found in small numbers within the island's colder region, the Chilicotherium Obsidiocus. Try that again.
Calligratherium?
Yeah, that's what she said. It's normally a peaceful herbivore that prefers to spend its days lazing about or playing with its family. For a tutorial, however, with its entire family, young and old, will turn against an encroaching creature is the slightest provocation. A memorable scene to stumble upon is a group of Chilicotherium playing one odd playtime activity for... Oh, she's doing this on purpose. For Chilicotherium to hurling large balls of snow or mud rocks at each other. Smaller creatures in the area shy away from Chilicotherium during this exertion for the fear of being buried in snow or gravel.
I thought it was cute that it was called the Mud Rocks, but we all know what they're really throwing at each other. We all know that. It domesticated. While many creatures are useful while attacking a fortress, the Calligratherium can be trained as a mobile artillery. Its unique playtime habit becomes a rather devastating long-range assault tactic when it is given boulders to throw rather than snowballs. Taming method is passive. The preferred food is the beer jar, obviously with the beer in it. Not just jars. Don't just shove jars up its butt. Preferred food on Primitive Plus is wheat beer. The equipment for the Calligratherium is you can do the saddle at level 42 unless you have a friend that is higher and more equipped and knows it than you. And you can ride this dino with weaponry, and you cannot carry humans, in case you were wondering. Now we have 2 Dodo Dex tips or comments about the Calligratherium. Mr. Goon has the first one.
Art. Too bad we don't have any good ranged creatures.
Calligratherium.
Does hold my beer.
Exactly. And then this, the next one was one of the funny tips on Dodo Dex. It says, I don't always tame these, but when I do, it's with Dos Equis.
Yeah, boy.
All right. So do you guys have any, wait, don't we use the Calligratherium? Isn't that how we get a lot of chitin or chitin? Isn't that the one that is really good at getting?
No, that's a different one.
Oh, that's the other one. Not the chitin. That's the sloth. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know Calligratherium. What do? You load it up with rocks and it throws the rocks? When it's given boulders to throw rather than... Huh. I didn't know they did that.
That's what Helena claims. Helena and the Dino dossier.
I never thought it was mud. I always thought they were throwing big old clumps of turds at you.
Poop. Yeah, I think they're calling it gravel, but it's really poop.
Yeah, that's
so
what
you can load it up with poop and they'd just be chucking poop.
Because it's not much different than the little monkeys throw.
Yeah, and then your screen gets covered in poop, so it's like...
Yeah. Helena was trying to be PC and calling it rocks and gravel, but really it's doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. All right, we are moving it to Mr. Falloons. Very epic, very amazing, very...
Oh, don't build them up too much.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, the console command that the admins can use, I wanted to bring up this time, it's called Enemy Invisible. And what that does is it makes you basically invisible to wild dinos. So a lot of times, like when we have events where we're spawning in bosses or spawning in this or spawning in that, you could use that enemy invisible, and it has one of two values you can use, and it's just true and false. So if you say enemy invisible true, then of course you're basically invisible to dinos, and invisible in the sense that you could literally run up and hit one and it would not aggro on you. Or like some of the dino, like you're spawning in replacement Rex or something like that. This is one way to do it outside of, last time when we talked about GM summon. So this is just another way to do that. So you could effectively make yourself invisible. So you could spawn in a wild dino. They would not even know you're there, and then you could do a do tame or whatever on them. And or, like I said, when we're doing events and spawning in bosses, admin can just go cheat fly up a little ways and then drop bosses down on everybody's heads.
There
which
you
is
go.
always kind of fun. Also, since I took a little hiatus from my PS4 project, and because I really like Primitive Plus, and everybody was on Primitive Plus, and I just couldn't stand it. I had to go, so I went and spent a bunch of time there, and then then Pixar came out, and I'm like, I wanted to try that, and I really enjoyed it. So I stayed on that for a while, but I'm back on PS4. One of the things that I wanted to try some different admin stuff there to see, what the contrast is there with the commands, beyond the interface. And so far, the only really thing that I tried was to teleport a player. It was like one of the things that is very useful to an admin. And one of the guys is playing on Yogi's PS4, Oman. He graciously agreed to be my guinea pig for different things that I was going to try.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I should have gave him a shout out, but I'm doing that now, so I really appreciate that. So yeah, the easy way to do it without a bunch of typing on PC was to just bring up Show My Admin Manager. You get that UI there, and then the commands are off on the right hand side, and the list of players is in the middle top and stuff like that. Well, Show My Admin Manager is different on PS4. It generally is laid out the same, with the exception of, I think that UI is only for banning and unbanning people, because that's the only commands that I see in there. Other than, I think, let me take that back. I think I did see like whitelisting and stuff like that, those commands in there. But I mean, it's just like when I brought that up the first time, I'm like, did I spell that right? I mean, the UI came up, and there's nothing on the right-hand side, no commands to use, nothing. It was just a big blank window. And I'm like, okay, well, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, that's crazy that it's not the same.
Yeah, it's so different. I don't know why it's different, but it's different.
Wow.
It would be nice if PS4 had exactly the same setup as PC, but it doesn't. So I'm like, well, okay. Let's see, teleport player. I think there's console commands, so I looked them up real quick, and there are a couple of, teleport player to me and teleport to player. And they have the versions of using their name or using their ID. So I throw those in the console command, and nothing happens. Both tries, both types of commands, and whether it's their name or their ID. And the other thing is, the ID that, like on PC, their ID is not their Steam ID. It's some number generated by the game, I guess. I don't know. And so that could be something that was making it fail for me, because I don't know that I got the number right or whatever. But so I tonight before the show, I started looking around a little bit to see if maybe there's a different method out there for PS4. And I come across post after post from back is about as far as you can go. It said that those commands are not functioning at all. So I don't know if that's still broken.
Wow.
Or if maybe I'm not doing it right for PS4. I don't know. It's something that is really super useful for admins to be able to get people out of trouble and stuff. So that was, to me, in a way, that's a little bit of a high priority. So that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for, doing a little more research. But if any listeners know, shoot us an email or send us something on Twitter or whatever, or send it to me. I think our Twitter addresses are still at the end of the show notes, aren't they? If not, I can make sure that it gets put on there. But anyway, yeah, it's one of the things I'm going to be looking into. But anyway, that's really all I have.
That sounds like a good idea, yeah, because it's so weird that stuff like this gets dropped, that it just gets overlooked so easily, and it affects a lot of people, It's
absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
so cool.
like I said, that teleporting a player, it helps, if you get somebody that gets stuck. I mean, there's still places in some of the maps where the mesh isn't quite right, or
absolutely,
or somebody falls down in a crevice and they can't get out or whatever, and they got their dino in there. Yeah. It's nice to be able to just tell them, get on your dino and teleport them to you or wherever, to their base.
Yeah.
And it fixes everything. So, I mean, and that's kind of a big deal, I think.
I agree. It definitely is.
So.
Cool. Well, I am starting a new segment that I want to give a try, and it's called Got Name?
If we're going to do this thing, we need to come up with a name. Something, something catchy, something...
I've been thinking about it.
Electric.
Things feel like... I don't know.
So what about...
This little segment I dreamed up was a random name generator results segment to help you find the names for your stuff. And today's results are for guilds and clans or tribes, because have you ever been logged in and you're like, oh, what do I want to name my tribe? Instead of running around like a whack jaggin and it's like tribe of Bob or tribe of Jane, here's some ideas for you. First up, we have Purple Legion, Infernal Primeval,
Boom, boom, boom.
Banished, Punished. I don't know why that's so...
A little bit of PvP action there.
I know. You're banished and punished. Like, that's the name. This one sounded a little...
That sounds like a spin-off from a big tribe. It's like this little faction within a tribe is like, we don't like you guys anymore, so we're gonna leave and we're gonna call ourselves Banished, Punished.
Yeah, exactly. Do you ever notice that when we played like World of Warcraft and like you always have those people like break off and their dreams are like to take down the tribe or the guild that they just came from, and they would always name it like Rise of the Phoenix or some shit like to make it like they're rising from the ashes of their old guild. Oh, they're so amazing. So I always kind of kick off this. This one sounds a little sketchy. Sounds a little roofy and drinky. Force of the Serpent.
I don't know. I kind of like that name. I'm just saying. I don't know where you get roofies from that, but
because I'm RPing as Cricket right now, where he'll go, is that a euphemism for something?
Nice. I'm forcing the serpent.
Yeah, the force of the serpent. Oh, here's another one. I kind of like this one. Freaks of the Brave.
Some chains and naughty things.
Yeah, Freaks of the Brave.
We're very brave, but guess what? We're also known as freaks.
Freaks of the Brave. Army of the Sword. Bounty of Corruption. Dashing Crawlers.
I almost thought that said dishwashing crawlers.
Dishwashing Crawlers.
I like Mad Swords, and I like the next one too.
Mad Swords and Cunning Blades.
I like Cunning Blades. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think let's go.
That's kind of roguey.
Yeah. So you guys like this new segment? I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. It could be fun.
Interesting.
Yes.
It'd be, and you're getting those from a
random name generator.
It'd be kind of cool to maybe throw in, just have an idea and just throw that in there. You know what I mean?
What?
That would be fun, I think. You come up with a name and just throw it in there.
Oh, that would be
outside of the
fun.
random
yes.
name generator.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, definitely. If anybody comes up with a name, add it to my show notes when I before you read.
Cool. Twiddle Sticks.
My old WoW tribe was
Sticks.
My old WoW tribe's name was
Belly Sticks.
Darkness Falls.
Darkness Trips.
That was a movie, first of all.
Was it really?
Darkness Trips? Or
that
Darkness
I did not know.
Falls?
Well, I mean,
Darkness
Trips
Falls.
could have been like the porn
Darkness
ripoff.
Farts. Darkness Burps. All right, we're moving into tip time. Who's got us started with tip time?
I guess I will.
All right. You're gonna. Oh, I got an intro for you, Gil.
Sweet.
Sorry, I'm off my game. Here it is.
I need that wood.
I guess I'm punching some trees.
Oh ho hi, Gooner.
Okay, now, when you make a campfire for the first time, if possible, make 2 or 3 of them and keep them extras in your inventory. You'll never know when you might be away from your base and need a fire quickly for warmth or food. Just remember to destroy it when you leave. Help keep the islands beautiful.
Great tip, Goon.
There you go.
That's an excellent tip. And we're gonna. Speaking of excellent tips, we got Mr. Foe with a mod spotlight.
My mod, spotlight.
Lord.
Pillars Plus. That's the mod I want to talk about. It's a really cool mod. It's totally stackable, for one. And what this does, it allows you to take pillars, and you could extend one pillar as far down as you need it to go. So you don't got to sit there and stack like 20 pillars to get to where you want your pillar to be, which is really cool. And not only can you make it as long as you need it to go, you can make it as wide as well. So you could have these cool looking giant stone like cylinder shaped rods coming up. They're like super thick. They're really cool looking. And what's also nice about the Pillars Plus is you could kind of make things float a little bit if you want to, because when you put a pillar there, it actually counts as going all the way down to the ground. So even if you don't see it, like if you don't extend the art to go all the way down, it counts as being there. So you could have things kind of floating.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
I used that part of it. I didn't know that you could increase the diameter. That's cool too. But the thing, like when I was building Ewok Village,
Diameter, no, it's girth. You actually
roll for
girth.
Roll for girth.
Okay.
Sorry, that's our secret. I can't even think of the words. I'm so fried. That's our side joke from our D&D night where we went to go take the kids to the pool, and we decided to roll for girth while he was gone.
Max Clamburger.
So you didn't realize that you could make them wider as well?
No, I didn't know that. I knew you could make them longer and shorter, and you could make floating buildings, but I didn't know you could do that. No.
You could also make columns, which are really cool. So they wound up looking like really cool columns.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they got the idea of floating bases in Pixar.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Yeah, that would be neat. No. Yeah. Very bad. Naughty. All right. So we have an Enraged, but I can't remember. Oh, I do have an intro. Here it is.
Okay. Just gotta do this one thing and I'll be done. What do you mean I can't do it? It's not letting me do it? I just want to do this one thing. Man, this stuff stresses me out.
So, I can't say that I'm like super enraged about this, but it was kind of annoying, so I figured I'd put it in here. I decided on the RP server to build a base using the cliff platform, and I'd put it into the waterfall. It looked super cool. Had a nice little backdrop. I put the walls on it. We're using the S Plus mod, so I had the 4-stack. I got all the walls on there, and it came time to put the ceiling up. I get up on top, start placing ceilings down, and I realized really quick that it was not letting me go more than 2 ceilings out because it wasn't recognizing any foundations. I ended up having to tear everything down and then putting foundations in a weird kind of pattern to get it to work around the platform. I eventually was able to put ceilings on there, but it was just pain in the butt. I really wish they would just make the platforms count as a foundation. That way you didn't have to worry about all that extra crap that doesn't even fit proper.
Yeah, I hate that. I agree. That's one of the things that I hated building on the tree platforms was I would like the option to not have to be limited to putting extra foundations on a platform. I agree.
Well,
like
it
you said,
drives
it
me
doesn't
nuts.
even fit nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get these weird gaps that don't even line up proper. It's frustrating. It's annoying. I had the same experience with tree platforms.
Yep, me too.
I am well aware that you could take another platform and use that as a roof, but it still doesn't count as a foundation. So anything you put down, you need a foundation for.
Right.
It's just annoying and frustrating.
I agree. Very annoying. I thought that your
Pillars plus, man. Pillars plus.
I thought your building though was absolutely amazing. I thought that was so cool because I was like, oh wow, because I read that you were working on that one night. So when I got to log in, I saw you had the little bridge leading over there, and I walked. I was like, this is a pretty badass idea to build right in front of there. It's pretty neat.
But the other
next
thing
day though. Oh, sorry.
Well, there's another part that frustrated me is I tried to put a dino gate down, and I don't know if it was like an S plus thing or what, but it would not let me put the dino gate at the edge of the foundations, and that's why it's one foundation back.
That is weird.
Did you put a foundation on the edge of your
try
foundation?
that.
See, I'm kind of against doing that because once that fence foundation gets destroyed, you lose all that. Like you lose the gate and everything that's on top of it. So it kind of that always bothered me. And coming from PvP
over there or no?
Well, it's sitting on the fence foundation. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and coming from PvP, like that was a complete weakness of using.
Yeah, that's true.
Stuff, so I've always been kind of hesitant to do stuff like that.
Bummer.
And the funny thing is like originally I wanted to make it 2-story, which I eventually ended up doing. But I wanted to play with that terrarium mod.
Yes. What did you think of that? Because that was totally new for you.
I went apeshit on it, and
awesome?
I turned the whole downstairs of that building into like a little kind of zoo.
It's amazing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and the details they put into those are awesome.
It's Eco. She does a badass job on that mod. She's the one that does the eco trees, eco garden, eco stables, eco camping, this eco RP and eco. That's the terrarium one is all amazing.
Yeah, my favorite one out of all that was probably the underwater cave one. I
haven't got to make that one yet. She's added a lot to it since I first used it.
We'll go into my little aquarium. You can look at it. It's on the wall.
That is a good idea. Because when I went there and the second time, that's when that Alpha Carno was walking around on the top of your house of the building. Like it came down of the waterfall and like landed on the top of your building. I was like, how in the hell am I going to get this thing off from here without damaging anything or whatever? So I was trying to aggro him. So I actually aggroed him. He followed me down the front of your house, across our base, and then off the cliff in front of our base and down into that little pond. And I don't know what happened to him after that. I don't know if someone killed him or what.
Yeah, I've thought about putting like gates up there to contain the things that fall down onto it, and then maybe some spikes to kill it off. But I haven't got that far yet.
Right. Half the times when they land on the spikes, they're like, ew, spikes. And they just sit there and annoy. Not like that Alpha Carno was. I was trying to fire him up with the fire wyvern, and it was hitting him pretty hard. The one that Cricket was leveling up. But I had to be really careful because our neighbor Grim was taming an Argent like right below. And I thought, oh, my luck is I would lose control of the wyvern and actually accidentally barbecue our new RP neighbor and the bird he was trying to tame. That later something happened, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about that in faux science.
Whoopsies.
But oh goodness sakes, that was so silly. Okay, well, faux science. Here we go. Okay, we are going to share our character cards that we have made for our characters during our faux science experiment in the RP server we're playing on. So Mr. Foe's going to share his first.
All right, the character I made, it's kind of like a sci-fi spin on it. So I've been watching some sci-fi shows, which gave me a lot of inspiration for this. Okay, you have the Advanced Reconnaissance Kill Team. I have been part of this kill team for well over a few decades now. Time seems to almost blur with the amount of time we spend in chronocells, sleeping until we are needed for our next mission. Only 2 missions left and I get re-sleeved into a skin of my choice and enough credits to live comfortably for generations to come. Our job is complex but rewarding. We are combat engineers. A lot of time and training goes into a soldier like myself, trained in not only combat but biology, geography, physics, and engineering. We could make either. Well, I lost track of where I am. We could scout new planets habitable by humans and determine if there are any hostile life forms that we can either make a bond with or, if possible, strong arm them into accepting our presence. That was what my life was before I woke up this morning, naked, lying on the shores of an unknown beach on an unknown planet. My chronopod crashed here after, from what I'm guessing, was shot from the hull as an escape protocol. I seem lucky to be alive since there's almost nothing left of my vessel. I see a large floating obelisk, so that is sign of intelligent life. I'll have to make my way to them and make contact. But I also can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Traces of prehistoric life. Actually, scratch that. I'm now looking at live prehistoric life. This just became a lot more complicated.
Ooh, I love that because
yeah,
very great because you could definitely paint a picture with everything that you were saying.
Right, it's just like, well, what happens next?
I know, right? That's how I feel like, come on, tell us what happens next. Maybe we will be able to write stuff like that, like our own little entry, but...
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, it'll be fun. My character's name is Ayla Olaris. And a bit about Ayla Olaris and her experience upon arrival to this world. Ayla's had her, and she felt very groggy, so she decided to stay in place, laying on her side until her vision cleared enough to see where she was. The padding from her pigtail buns provided some comfort for her head against the hard ground. She knew she was near trees as she could hear the wind whipping through their leaves. After a few minutes more of stillness, she decided to try to get on her hands and knees to feel around for something she could use as a weapon. She reached forward and found what she thought was a rock. But as she grabbed onto it, she felt its shape change in the palm of her hands. She screamed out loudly, "Ah!" and then covered her mouth with her free hand, hoping she did not draw attention to herself. Her vision was starting to return to normal, so she stared into her palm as she loosened her grip. The odor coming from the soft rock was a familiar one. It was poop. She screamed over poop. Feeling foolish, she laughed to herself and stood up to see if there was water nearby that she could wash her hands off. Just when she decided to take a step out from the shrubs where she had awoke, she froze in place as she watched 2 trees topple to the ground 50 feet from her. Something big was close. Too close. A little bit about her personality. Ayla enjoys the water as much as the forest. She tends to be very jumpy and is easily excitable, which doesn't make her unexplained fear of the dark easy to deal with. She gets cold easily and gets mesmerized by shiny things. If given the chance to go on an impromptu adventure, she would feel at home declining the invite. She is blunt and very cautious, and likes to take a bit of time to plan for dangerous excursions. Apparently, unless she's with her buddy Goon, they throw caution to the wind. She is also a bit of a klutz.
It's a cool story, too.
Thank y'all.
You had to add poop into that.
Maybe her name should have been Alea Calicotherium.
Yes, it should be. Glygotherium. Good one. Yes. Maybe that'll be her nickname. Maybe she is a Glygotherium in human disguise. Her ulterior personality. Mr. Cricket couldn't join us tonight. He is playing real life Ark with the Boy Scouts. So Falloon's going to read his character card.
Okay, here we go.
Lopter
is the name. So his story is both prisoner and crew, nemesis and ally. Lopter's allegiances are as chaotic as his mind. Blood as cold as ice, and temperament to match. He feels best when surrounded by the cold, perhaps it reminds him of his ancient bloodlines. While the other members of the ARK were put into chronocells, Lopter insisted on the older technology of cryostasis, or icebox as he likes to call it. He recognizes his team, and so he joins them on this foreign land, not necessarily out of friendship, but out of respect for their skills. He knows what must be done, and will never stop until his body is stayed up cold.
Yeah, he's got that nailed down. Exactly. Mr. Baloo.
Mr. Big. Upon waking to water washing over my face, blinking and looking around, I was confused. Last I could remember was staring back at foreign faces, laying on my back, staring up. My memories are very fuzzy and incomplete, and I'm not sure what to do. I heard a weird scream coming from my left. I looked up to see a weird creature that what looks like a giant umbrella around its head. At a quick glance, I realized it's showing signs of aggression, and as I turned to run, a glob of green goo came shooting from this creature's mouth, blinding me. The blindness wasn't painful until the beast moved in for the kill. The last thing I remember was the pain as the creature tore me apart. Again, I find myself waking up on a beach. Didn't I just die? What's going on here? Looking down, I noticed I have some sort of gems coming out of my wrist, and it seems attached. I can't seem to figure out what it does yet. Looking down the beach, I noticed a familiar beast that I swear just murdered me moments before standing over a corpse. The corpse looks like me. What the hell is going on? I want to investigate, but I can't bring myself to go near the beast again. I've decided that my next course of action is to find a place to make camp so I can gather my wits and try to remember something. Anything. I've tried hard, but I don't even know my name. If I'm to meet another human in this strange place, what am I going to call myself? My new name came to myself as I explored the beach for safe shelter. As I stepped out from behind a giant rock, I saw it. A gigantic, long-necked creature just sitting there, grazing on some grass near the beach. This creature was so big and massive, it was intimidating. And that's when it hit me. Big. I should call myself Mr. Big. It's manly and intimidating, so Mr. Big it is. Now I need to figure out what's going on and where I am and how do I fit into this strange world. I think it might be a comedy.
I feel like that's a true.
Goddamn true nose.
I loved your story too. I didn't I guess I've never even thought about approaching it from that way, and it's so like, why didn't you think about that? That was cool. That
Yeah.
It's like, geez, we take that whole part of our experience for granted, you know, like, oh, we just died and wake up. But I love that you incorporated it into your storyline too, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I really like it too because I don't feel I'm a little self-conscious, so that's why I haven't really gotten too involved in the RP stuff. And because I don't feel like, I don't know, I just, when I look at your guys' stories, I'm just kind of like amazed and mesmerized and wanting to know more and stuff like that. I enjoy those stories, but I just don't feel like coming up with one. But this one was like, hey man, why didn't I think of that?
Totally could have. Yeah,
I could have done that.
Yeah, it's so down to earth.
Right.
It's entertaining because
exactly.
It's relatable, you know.
Absolutely. I like it.
I think we get so caught up in the epic lore and the names and stuff, and this was very relatable. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I knew I wanted to name myself Mr. Big, and being in an RP setting, I'm like, how the hell do I incorporate that into
right?
That was pretty cool how you did that, though.
But yeah, and then I had to put the damn Dillo. I mean,
right?
We all have that fucking experience with the Dillo at some point.
That is so true. The first one I ran into, the girl I was playing with, I apparently screamed bloody murder. She thought it was like a Rex was after me. Well, I had rezzed in my little box house, and this was back in the game, back at the beginning of the game, where Dillos spitters, I always called them, would stick their head through the freaking wall and could still attack you. Like the clipping was so bad, and they would just glitch through stuff. So I remember waking up for the first time after being killed by one, waking up in my bed, and then my camera turned, because I always play in first person, my camera turned, and that little whack dragon's face was right in my face, and I screamed bloody murder, and she came running over thinking it was like a huge dinosaur, and it was just this little jerk Dilo with his head stuck in staring at me. And yeah, it's terrifying. Your first one is terrifying. You will never forget your first spitter experience.
Right.
So you're so true, Blue, for adding that in. That's so true.
The one thing I liked about the Dillos is it always reminded me of Jurassic Park, and that was probably one of the big things that got me super interested in the dinos was
yes, definitely. I agree. And Goon, you got a one for us too.
Not after listening to that one, I don't.
No, you do. You better give it to us.
Come on, Goon, yours is awesome too.
Man, what happened to me? I'll just lay here a minute and try to gather my thoughts. Well, I'm on a beach, I can hear the waves, and I got sand in my crack. The sun is warming my body, which leads me to think that I'm naked. Guess I should just open my eyes and actually try and figure out where I'm at and how the hell I got here. I get up and walk over to the water, kneel down and start splashing water on my face. This water feels good. Wait, what is this in my arm? How did I get here? And was that just a trilobite that just swam past me? I stand up and start looking around. Walking down the beach, I see a Triceratops. Not believing my eyes, I walk up a small hill and come up to the edge of a cliff. Looking out, I'm seeing dinosaurs. Actual dinosaurs. And in the distance, there's this huge object in the sky, glowing. I make a plan to head toward it, not knowing what's going to happen. Where the hell am I?
Another good one.
See, Glued. That was a good one. I liked it.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, definitely.
I enjoyed that one.
Yes. Because you're painting a picture for us to paint in our heads as you go.
The thing I like about all of these is at the end, it just kind of it leaves the story open for something unknown that's going to happen next.
Right. Yeah, kind of just leaving an empty canvas. And because that's kind of how RP really is. We're finding out, like, you just kind of wing it, and because you don't know, like, I still don't know what voice I want to use, because I don't want to use the annoying squeaky one that I was using the other night. Oh.
The creepy doll chick.
Yeah, yes, exactly, like the female Chucky doll.
You should give the good listeners an example.
How was it now? I can't remember. I was like, hey guys. I think it was I think I do it on our video. That video I linked.
Maybe, yeah.
Talk about, but I don't think I added it into the video. So no, I don't think it was. I think I cut that out of the.
Oh, you couldn't listen to it, so you purposely cut it out, but you got me screaming. What the heck?
Yeah, exactly, exactly, for good reason.
I think it might be a copy.
I feel like it's a true down. That was amazing. God. That was so funny. We'll just snip it down and have your wife use that as like her phone ringer. Ah! It will be you screaming.
I'll just put it on my phone and say it's a dino call.
Yes, exactly. It's little Dilo. So what we're learning, also part of this faux science entry is today Goon and I were kind of like problem children almost on the server in a way. Where I thought that I would spread out my RP reach for the first time, and Goon and I, last night we didn't really have too much time. We got done recording our cross realm cast, and Goon and I hopped into Ark, and everybody else had to go to work the next day, so they went to bed. And Goon and I were like, let's go. go and we're going to hop in these eco tree, the eco camping mod. We hopped in some canoes and we're going to have a legit camping backpacking excursion. We headed down we headed up north. Right now our base is like the north west corner of Ragnarok. And it's like Jungle 3 spawn area. So we cut across the top northern edge. So it took you all the way across. And then we curved down and we were hitting the desert area, which is on the east side of Ragnarok map. And little did we know. So on our way there, though, we were stopping and snooping and checking out everybody's bases and everything cool that they had and seeing if everybody was home and kind of hoping that we would get some RP opportunities. But, it was late and we didn't see anybody. I think everybody's living like inland or something. I barely see any action on the beach or whatever. So we came across this big building with these stairs, and I ran up the stairs and Goon followed, and then we found the sleeping man named Hanzo, and I thought, well, I'm freezing. Like, Goon looked down, he's like, oh, I got an ice or snowflake, and I'm like, oh, I'm freezing too. Like, I had an ice cube, because his fortitude is so... How much was your fortitude right now?
100.
100! And you said you had a snowflake, right?
Yeah.
And I had an ice cube because my fortitude is like 18. It was like ridiculous. So I'm like, oh God. So my first thought was, well, I'm RPing and I'm cold. So, and there's this Hanzo was passed out in the middle of his, he was sleeping out on the ground. So I ruffled through his stuff and took all of his warmer gear and maybe a sniper rifle and maybe I swapped out my sickle, for a better one and gave him mine. And I maybe have swapped out an axe.
You never know.
I gave him my jakety one.
Hey, at least you left him with something.
I did, right? And then I was even nice. I gave him my cloth clothes and I made sure I painted them and everything. So I put clothes back on him. I didn't leave him naked. So, I was like, oh, we're good to go. So then we officially, and then I left a note because one of the rules of the server was that if you are thieving anybody or you broke in for RP reasons or it's an RP lead up or whatever, that you leave a note. So I left a note. I can't remember. What did my note say? It's in our thingy. Oh, it said, I just thought of something like real quick. I was like, oh, I got to leave a note. You're supposed to have it kind of give a clue so they can kind of figure out who you were. So mine was, I remember I shared it. It said something, this is so teeny. All right. It says, I was cold. The action was bold. I'm little with pigtails. Thanks for the clothes and other stuff. I owe you. And then a capital A and a period. So in my letter, I told him my motive was I was cold. So I swapped clothes, and I took some other stuff and I gave him a clue that I was small and I had pigtails and then the first letter of my name. And I put, I owe you because I did have like intentions of, reciprocating or something, like making future contacts. So I felt like for my first time, I did a good job. So then this morning when I log into Discord, I had a message right away from like one of the admins and I was so tired and I'm like squinting while I'm reading this. And it was like, hey, could you please contact me by a thieving thing? Even if it isn't you, I just need to get the other side of the story. I'm like, that little whitey brat, what'd he do? Go and cry that? I was like, what did I do wrong? Like,
it sounds to me like you did everything by the rules. I mean,
I did.
They were able to figure out it was you.
Yes, obviously. It's not like it was, so crazy. And then the part I thought was funny was, hello, don't sleep in the middle of your floor. Like, if you're on an RP server and you take a nap in the middle of a wide open area, then somebody's probably going to rifle through your stuff, So it's not like I broke in or anything. We walked up an open stairway and there his body was. Don't sleep outside. Because in real life, that would happen. Like, if you just went and slept on the sidewalk, somebody's probably going to rifle through your stuff. Because that's what happens. So, yeah. So then once I busted myself out, I was like, yeah, I did. And I gave them everything. And they're like, oh, that's fine. you just might want to, they said, well, it's okay. You just want to keep it limited to a few items. I didn't take everything. I left his ascendant crossbow and all that stuff. So I took like half of the good stuff. So then
I bet you somebody else ran across him and took the rest of it.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good point, because it's not only just me. Yeah, that's a good point.
Didn't leave a note, because who's gonna, how are they gonna police that? It's so stupid.
Yeah, that's so stupid. Yeah, that's true. I should ask about that. Good point. So, and it's, you got to kind of think with, when you're taking on admin in a public, in a public way, because you sign up to this through a Steam link to a Discord, you get a quick interview, and then you're in the server. They're really taking on a lot to do this kind of a thing. So could you imagine having to deal with, this is just one instance with one basic scenario, and then if you have somebody complaining all the time, that would be so annoying. I don't know why anybody would want that. It's like community managing for free. I don't know why. But yeah, so I did the best I could, and then once I explained everything to her, she was like, oh yeah, you were fine. If you need help writing notes, or because I told her I'm new at it, I didn't really know if I did it right. And they're like, oh yeah. She was like, if you need help writing notes, let me know. I'll help you in the future. And she said, you did everything fine. Maybe just try to, RP it the rest of the way through and play it out. And I'm like, yep, that's what I intend. And so it was fine. But then Goon had his own situation that happened to him earlier that day. So I don't know what's happened with that. So do you want to share that, Goon?
Yeah, I got a Rex out. It's going to do a little leveling up on my character. And just walking down, and our neighbor she mentioned earlier, Grim, he's just below us. I walked past his, I guess it would be a hut.
Yeah, it's like a 2x with wood sides and a thatched top. That's a little square.
And he has all his little tames, because she was talking about him taming an RG. Well, as I walked past, somehow they aggroed onto my Rex and they attacked it. And I took my Rex, took off running with it, and did not run them, so they kept attacking me, so I had to eat them. I killed all of his dinos.
Because I don't know how.
Well, I mean,
he shouldn't have his stuff
put it on
aggressive. Exactly.
Yeah.
And how close to our base is he?
It's
he's
down,
he's over the cliff.
Literally, where I was working on my Rat Cafe, it's just a hop and a skip from that right there. I can look over the edge and there's his little base.
Oh, is that new?
Really?
Yeah, it's right there.
When did he get there?
It was just a little box. I think his intent is to move in for RP, because everybody's so spread out.
Oh, maybe he's just trying to get some interaction.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was malicious, because
I was planning on making our base on those hills over there. And
no, he's below us. He's not.
Yeah, he's below.
Oh, below.
So if you went to the left or whatever, it'd be fine.
So
or
he's
even
kind
above
of.
us.
Yeah, it's just a 2x3 foundation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think he's doing it to bring it in to have more interaction, but he had, for some reason, his dinos not aggressive, and Goon just been walking by on the Rex, it gets aggro to him, and then he had to reciprocate because he had higher level dinos, like the Argent. I went and brought him, I interacted with him earlier that day. I brought him some Argent kibble, the Stego kibble for the Argent, and so we had an amicable interaction, and then that night we end up it'll look like our tribe ate all of his dinosaurs. Here's some kibble to tame an Argent, and then we go and eat it later on, but it was entirely, he doesn't. So thankfully Goon went and busted him, so that the guy wouldn't log in and be like, what the hell, you got to talk with him today, right?
No, I never talked to him. I talked to one of the admins.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, talking to them.
Asked them what I should do, and they asked me where he's at, so I gave them all the information, his name, his location, everything, and we're going to go find out about his dinos, and if they're unaggressive, then it shouldn't be. And they're going to have to talk to him about that, but I don't know if I aggroed him. Maybe my T-Rex stepped on one. I'm not sure. I thought I was far enough away from him, but...
Do they have an AoE in this new one that would aggro? I don't think so. You'd have to roar, or did you roar or something, and maybe they were on attack my target? Regardless, they should have been on passive. That's what I think it was, right? Didn't you have to have your...
Yeah, they can't be aggressive.
Yeah, they can't reset on that.
I mean, if he had something like out and you didn't see it, like maybe well, I doubt it's a compy, but like a compy, and you accidentally stepped on it, I could see that aggroing things. But that's still on him for not putting his shit away.
Right, and that's what it was. It's literally a little box, and then a bunch of dinos were surrounding it. Like, it's just, there was no fence, nothing. It was just a box with all the rando dinos just around it, you know? So he's coming down the hill, which is the only way down on that side of our base. You're going to run across that.
Oh, no. Stuff happens, but
it does.
Like a couple raptors, an Anki, his bird. I think that's all it was, like 5 of them.
It would be a bad day for him. I think that's what we were more concerned about, was like, damn, you know, we don't want to look like we're being assholes. Be like, oh, while you're gone, neighbor, munch, 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 munch.
Yeah, so our tribe's not doing well on the RP server.
We're being naughty.
Troublemakers for the day.
Making friends in global.
Yeah, right. No, we didn't. Oh, yeah, Blue got... Yes, it's all three. We always try to get along and be good little kids, and something always happens. Because, Blue, you got the first scolding because you were using global in a non-happy manner.
So, I did not use the double slashes, like it says in the rule for out-of-character chat.
What is wrong with you?
I know, right?
Damn
and
Blue.
I asked a question about, I think it was tame rates, because I was trying to tame that beaver. That the replacement beaver, and they're like, use Discord. Try not to use chat for out of RP experiences. I'm like, are you effing kidding me right now?
Well, I think the funny thing is, though, it's new to you but we remember Quicksilver telling us this because we had him on telling us like on a long time, like sometime last year in an episode. It was all RP, and he got on and told us all the rules on the servers that he had played on. So I kind of had an idea, but you weren't I was shocked at how many people used it, and even the admins. It must be a new rule that they just slid in to do the //
I don't even think it's that. I think they're just trying to crack down on it to get it to be more RP than it is.
Yes, yeah, I agree, because
it was abused pretty heavily.
Yes,
like
it was
a few
abused
days
a lot.
ago.
Yeah, I agree. You just happened to be how it always happened to me in school. Was the one who got caught? You know that you were the one.
The one who didn't
get
away.
That guy. Yeah, get him.
Yeah, no, it was funny because like shortly after that they even put out a blast on the Discord saying, please do not use world or global chat for out of RP and use Discord for rules. I'm like, really?
That's so cool. You got a blast on their Discord for you, and I got the one that said this morning, everyone, please make sure you read all the rules correctly in regards to raiding and thieving. And that was directed towards me.
That. I was laughing when I saw that.
So we're all making quite an impression.
They love us.
You did everything you were supposed to do.
I did. I think, but they posted that before talking to me. Because I think once they talk to me, they're like, oh, she did everything right. Because I think that's even...
Did you tell them what your letter said? And like what you took?
I probably should. Yeah, I probably should do that.
It wasn't... You didn't have your name on it. You're supposed to assign your name to it, and you didn't.
No, you don't have to sign your name. You just have to give clues to what you are, but not make it super vague to where nobody can figure it out. And well, I guess yours was kind of super vague, but...
I don't know. She said it was fine. Let me see. Because she said... Because they probably told her what my letter was, right? Because maybe. But she said... She said, that's okay. It's only limited to a few items, so that's the only issue. And it is no offline thieving. If offline thieving is not desired, it is preferred to steal from them when they are online, like using a Pegomastix. Other than that, you did everything fine. I just wanted to touch base with you about it, just so that you know in the future. And she says, I could be a bit more vague, clues, but not too vague to the point it's very cryptic. So she said if you could RP it out with Hanzo, maybe if you want to, but that's up to you, she said. So she said I did fine. I could have been more vague if I wanted, because she must have known what I wrote, so I don't know.
So actually, it sounds to me like the only issue they had was the fact that he was offline.
I think that's what it was. But then after I said that he was, I said, absolutely. She was out backpacking through the area and was freezing at her cloth. She climbed up the stairs to the light she saw, found a sleeping person and traded clothes with them and left a note. I said, I plan on having her return them with my RP story. It seemed a fun way to do it. And she said, she said, anytime if you need any help writing notes and blah, 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 she'd be happy to help. So I think it was more, I think they got onto him because I went back there to return stuff today and he logged out in a tiny little box now. So I think they probably were like, well, you technically logged out in the middle of nowhere, you know? So
yeah.
You can't just leave your body unattended out in the game. Now attempt to even log out in a building or something and then cry when somebody takes some of your stuff.
I think probably the upside to it is that got an admin who's getting involved.
Yes.
And
a
in the end, it sounded like she was more than willing to be as helpful as she needed to be.
Absolutely. I was impressed. I was like, oh, thank goodness. Yep. I said, thank you for your help. And she said, anytime, if you need any help writing notes, let me know. And I said, awesome. And we're good to go. So I thought they did a great job adminning, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep. In hindsight, I probably could have, because I did take a screenshot because I'm like that. And I do actually have video of me doing it. So I have all the proof that I needed last night to back me up. So I didn't even think about if it was so easy for me to rob the person, they could have robbed it too. And how do they even know what I took? Because if they leave their body out there, like maybe they're under the impression I took everything, but I didn't, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody else could have went through just as easily. So
absolutely.
Didn't even think about that.
I bet you the person that reported you probably went overboard. And after they talk to you, they're probably like brushing it off like, well, shit, she did everything by the book. This dude's being a little bitch.
That's how I felt. I was like, reality is don't log your character out in the middle of nowhere and not think somebody's going to RP with your sleeping body while you're gone. So crazy. I didn't say anything like, oh, never mind, I won't go there. But anyway, I won't Bill Cosby. It wasn't like a Bill Cosby thing going on. Dude was just hanging out in the middle of nowhere.
Like me some pudding pops.
Pudding pops? Yeah, he wakes up with a bunch of pudding pops on his body. So, yeah.
Done!
So that turned out well. And then we have a damn E-key. Well, did you have anything more? All right, so lately, I forgot. So now we don't know. We accidentally maybe parked on the side. Last night, we set up camp on the edge of this map. They call it in the Badlands. It's an open PvP zone. No rules. Wild, Wild West. So naturally, Goon and I, for some reason, decided to set up camp right on the edge of that zone. So I think maybe somebody came and wiped us today. In reality, we would be able to argue that we're not in the red zone. It says it doesn't expand out into the ocean. We are on a rock, not even in the desert. We are on a rock that is in the water off the shore, So we could have been sticklers and been whiny little babies and got on and bugged an admin and been like, something happened to our raft and somebody stole this, but we didn't. And the horrible thing is all that dude stuff I needed to return is in the stuff that somebody took. Is gone now. So now I'm like, well then, I'm right back.
Classic.
I know.
They stole the stuff I stole.
Right back at square one.
They stole the stuff I stole, and now, so I don't go and complain to someone, that all of our stuff got stolen, all of our camping. Well, and then Goon, somehow they got Goon stuff. We were in a tent. In those little tents. It was so cool. So anyways, Ayla decided to I went up the desert butt crack, and I pitched a tent on the left side of the river when you go up the middle of the desert, because the right-hand side is PvP, but across the river, it's safe. Safe in quotations. So right now, Goon and I are backpacking around with canoe and camping gear right now. So Ayla and Goon are camping, and I thought it might be cool to maybe build a little desert outpost for us. So next week, maybe you'll hear what happened with that.
Hey, those screenshots you guys were sharing in Discord are awesome.
Oh God, they're so beautiful. Goons turned out amazing. I felt like we were doing a 19 or an 1800s photo session though, because he was like, "Stand right there, hold right." Oh. The fire, it's too glowing. I'm like, okay, maybe if I go sit over here. Oh, okay. And then, is that good? Like, It was like a real professional, like a photo session last night. It was funny.
Well, like the camping ones, it just kind of, when I seen those, it just kind of drew me into, like camping trips that I've been on,
Yeah.
And it was really cool. And then the canoe it looked like a canoe on the lake with the mountain in the background. I really liked that one too.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Just, we didn't get to play a lot because it was already late, but what we did do, I think it was a good time.
They stole my guitar.
Yeah, they stole his freaking guitar. Somebody stole his guitar. Oh, God. I took some classy pics, too. I was taking a dump on the Eco RP toilet, and Goon was taking a bath in the same room. So I had the aroma covered, and he had the steam.
Yeah, it's like a married couple. Yeah, I'm taking a shower here. That's all right. I'm just going to poop while you take your shower.
Courtesy flush. Absolutely. It was funny. So we have a damn E-key from Mr. Goon.
Did I do that?
Well, this damn key isn't mine. It's me watching someone else do one. It was hilarious.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we were going along the desert, Esme and I, and she decided to try something smart.
Oh, damn, the story's about me. I'm thinking it was someone else. I'm like, brilliant.
Yeah, well, we're out in the water, and she decides, look how far they aggro on you here from here. She stops the raft and stops driving it, and as soon as she stops driving it, she aggroes everything off the beach. Well, I think she forgot how far the
freaking mantis.
Yeah, the mantis. How far they jumped.
Holy shit, that was terrifying.
It jumped way out, landed on her raft, started attacking her. It busted the cabinet we had in 2 hits. Cabinet was gone. She jumps back, starts driving the canoe around again. It's just hitting everything on the canoe. She has to get to a rock and shove it off with a rock. As soon as she gets around the rock, a scorpion jumps on the boat. So now she has a scorpion sitting there. So she has to go around the rock again. It was just hilarious. All because she wanted to look how far I can aggro them.
I was metaphor-sciencing it. I was like, I think it's so, because I remember going, it's so weird how the insects in Ark have such a crazy long aggro range. And then I'm like, da. That freaky.
Oh, wait a minute. These ones jump.
Hell yeah, I forgot, man. Those suckers. He looked at me and within seconds was airborne, straight parallel, like flying at me like lightning. And I was like, fuck!
Esme, I think you have this thing about dinos that jump. Because remember when we were on the, was it the Prim Plus server? One of those, maybe it was the 36. And we were kind of close to the swamp. And the capros were clearing the fence.
Yes! Jumping a freaking dino gate. Yes, I remember I think it happened to Goon and I and Lumin and I, because I remember Luminen's character was standing in front of me, and we're talking to each other in TeamSpeak, but it was like real life, and that guy's like standing in front of me, we're talking, and we're catching up, and then all of a sudden, behind Luminen's character, I see a freaking capro run from the swamp, run up the little incline, and scale the dino gate, and land right in our foyer, like right in our little area and the Lumina doesn't even know this shit's going on behind his back. And I'm like, what? Like freaking out because those suckers don't mess around. Once they get you, they get you. And oh my God, we were terrified. And it was so crazy because it was like, how in the hell did a wild capro know to run up this little incline and jump over a freaking dino gate? Like that's some pretty impressive premeditated capro action. It was crazy. I hear ya. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's terrifying. I remember that forever, though. He's just sitting there talking to me, and this capro was just like slow motion in my head, jumping the dino gate. It's crazy.
Lumen, excuse me for 1 minute. I'm going to go over here.
Yeah, I just gotta, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Too silly. Ah, that makes good memories. Yeah. All right. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll say no. That's awesome. I mean, I can't ever forget watching that thing jump off the land and land perfectly on your raft.
I know, what the hell, dude? And I think what it was is I was focusing on the one to the left. I didn't even see that one on the right. There was like 3 mantises, and I only saw 1 out of the 3 when I got around it. And then all of a sudden, it was too late. Yeah, and it just terrorized everything on the raft. But luckily, you got to go back underwater and get it. So that was hilarious. Yeah, and then the scorpion. It was quite an adventure. Quite an adventure.
Yeah, I jumped down in the water. As soon as I jumped in the water, I hear her screaming, "He's coming back! He's coming back!"
It was so crazy.
He came out of me, and I jumped back in the canoe and took off, but he never got me.
Yeah, it was nuts. So crazy. So it'll be interesting. We'll see. That's why I thought the dino, like making like, maybe our characters can go back and see if like our rest of our crew, wants to meet us at a rally point or something, because I think it'll be kind of neat to do like a little dangerous desert outpost building or something, because so much crazy stuff's in the desert, so shenanigans will be had, I'm pretty sure.
So is the non-PvP zone up in the mountain area?
No, the non-PvP zone, like where the butt crack goes up, the low river and the Ragnarok desert area on the left, like if we're staring at the map, left of the river is fine. Right of the river, the Badlands, is all free-for-all PvP action.
Where all the red drops are.
Yeah. So,
that's all PvP.
Yeah, so the desert mountains are the...
So yeah, the desert mountains to the left, and then there's a little map they have in their Discord.
It's all the flatlands of the desert. It starts at the base of the mountains and just follows along the ocean.
Yeah, that's all the PvP area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now I'm on the left-hand side of the river, like right on the river's edge, and I just popped a tent really quick because I had to log out. I love those damn tents. They're amazing.
Sorry, I popped a tent too.
Yes, everybody pops the tent.
Bunch of tent poppers.
Yeah, but... Who popped a tent in the butt crack, though?
You're a tent popper.
Popped a tent in the butt crack.
Oh, no! Oh, goodness. All right. I think it's time for some last call. Last call, where are you? Here we are.
It's closing time. Pack up all those dinos and head out into the real world. It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can stay here. I don't want to have to log right now. I don't want you to have to log right now. But it's closing time. The rated R is ready to pull the plug.
Did you have something that you forgot to mention during the show? Say it now, or wait a week. You guys never have anything, but do you?
Scarlet Fury wanted a shout out to send you guys her love, because she was busy and couldn't join us to listen.
Aww. We send Scarlet our love as well.
Send a return shout out saying the same thing.
Yes, send
saying
a carrier
ditto.
Pigeon.
Just ditto.
That's what's up.
Like in Ghost. Like in Ghost, the movie Ghost.
Yeah, apparently she was super disappointed.
And just so you know, that was Goon playing his guitar, so whoever stole it, they need to bring it back so we can do more of these intros.
Yes, we need another guitar, so bring that back.
Was it a guitar or loot?
A guitar. Which is loot.
Loot comes out of a drop, come on.
Yes, no kidding. Get with the program. You can come and join us in the games we play, the podcast we record, and the Discord server we hang out in at crossrealmrebellion.com. You can follow the gaming group on Twitter at CRR Gaming Group. You can follow Rated Arc at Rated Arc and all that stuff. So, guys, have a great... Hey, such a mellow episode from last week, right? Such a mellow episode.
Oh, man, I missed out on last week.
Totally
Dude,
chill.
You had to listen to us.
Like, I was here, but I don't get it.
You don't get it. All right. Well, guys, have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
You can reach the show by email at ratedarc@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at ratedarc on Twitter. You can grab our RSS feed, get our show notes, and apply to join us in-game at ratedarc.podbean.com.